Howdy my totally as always tubular gamers, and we're back with, you guessed it, another ranking video. And today we're going to be doing another Call of Duty ranking video. It's been a while since I did a COD video, so I thought I'd come back and do another ranking video. Today we're going to be looking at all of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare games. So any COD with the name Modern Warfare in it is going to be on this list. The Modern Warfare series is really what put Call of Duty on the map. Well, it did have some popularity before. It really was Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, and then of course Black Ops and all that to really get Call of Duty on the pedestal that is on now, where it just sells like gangbusters. I mean, shoot, even when Call of Duty was starting to lose some interest and some people were falling out with the series, they rebooted with Modern Warfare 2019, and a lot of people actually came back to play that. And now with the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 here in 2022, there's a ton of interest in Call of Duty again, as a lot of people love the original Modern Warfare 2 and have come back to see what the series is all about now. After playing through this new Modern Warfare 2 and playing some of it online, I thought, you know what, let's talk about it. Let's rank all of the Modern Warfare games and see how they all stack up against each other. Now, I ranked every Call of Duty game a number of months back, about a year ago. And when I mean every, I really do mean every. Like, I looked at every mobile title, every DS title, every mainline title. I looked at everything. There was 42 games. We're going to be combining the mobile titles and the DS titles, since I don't think a lot of people care about those. Really, we're looking at mostly the mainline games here. But we're even going to throw in Warzone in there just cuz. Now, if you've seen my previous Call of Duty videos, you're going to be pretty familiar with how I feel about these games. I'll be real, my opinion hasn't changed since I made that video. I haven't gone back and played these games since I made that video, and so my thoughts are exactly the same. So we're going to reuse and recycle because, yeah, we're going to be ranking these games based off, you know, just everything, the campaign, the single player, spec ops, or if they have some other mode, how's the story, how's the presentation, are they still fun to play, do they hold up? We're going to be looking at a number of titles here. Let me know your favorite down below as always. Like, share, comment, sub, all that good stuff. We're going to just get right into it. What do I think is the worst of the Modern Warfare games? It is pretty obvious though. The worst of the Modern Warfare games is easily the mobile versions of Modern Warfare 1 and Modern Warfare 2 Force Recon. We're talking about the old games to be specific. This isn't like iOS or Android. No, we're talking like Java phones. These are top-down shooters that really do not represent Modern Warfare or Call of Duty in general. They're pretty basic games. You had to play with like the keypad back in the day. This is some old 2000s jank, and these games really don't hold up very well. They're pretty annoying to play nowadays. You basically need a Java phone emulator. Should be fairly obvious, but I don't think anybody should be playing these versions. Not like you really can easily play them nowadays anyway. And so here we have the Modern Warfare trilogy on DS. That is COD 4, that is MW2 known as Mobilized, and Modern Warfare 3 Defiance. Now these are all first-person shooters on the DS. I'm sure you can guess how well that went over. Now, the DS doesn't even have one analog stick. It has the D-pads, face buttons, and touchscreen, which led to some very interesting controls for these games, and I'll leave it at that. It plays about as good as it looks. It doesn't look very good. It has very basic level design. The shooting doesn't feel good in any sense. The controls for all three games are just all around mediocre, and there just really isn't a lot going on here. Interestingly enough, they don't try to recreate the stories of the main games. They actually try to add like side stories, which is kind of cool. But the gameplay definitely kills really any enjoyment with this game. There's even some mini games in one of the DS games. I don't remember which one. They all just kind of blended in, and they were all bad. I don't think any of these are worth playing. I don't really know why Call of Duty's on the DS other than money, because gameplay wise this is just not worth playing. As a kid, I knew Modern Warfare was bad on the DS. I tried it and was like, this is bad. And nowadays, it's not just bad, it's really bad. I mean, I'd rather play this than the mobile games, but that's really not saying anything. Don't play any Modern Warfare game on the DS, just stick to the main games. And so here we have everyone's favorite Battle Royale, Call of Duty Warzone, released in 2020. While Infinity Ward was the primary developer on Warzone pre-release, it is worth noting that post-release, really every Activision developer has worked on Warzone in some way. But when it comes to Warzone, what really is there left to say? It's a battle royale. You either go in by yourself, duos, trios, or as a squad. You basically fly over the map in a plane, you all jump out, you land somewhere, and you hunt everyone else down. The map gets smaller and smaller to prevent anyone from camping. You scourge for weapons and items and different ways to kill each other, and yeah, you just kill each other. They really expanded on Blackout from Black Ops 4, and I think that this is much better than Blackout. There's a lot more options and a lot more different ways you can go about the Battle Royale. There is another mode in addition to the Battle Royale known as Plunder, where you collect cash as well. It's not just the Battle Royale, but good luck finding all that many matches. It's really the Battle Royale that's the popular thing for it. But as a Battle Royale, it's actually pretty alright to good. I think Warzone's actually a pretty fun time. I'm not a big Battle Royale guy. I was really big on PUBG back when it like came out, and I think this is way better than PUBG. When it comes to like comparing it to Fortnite, I mean, I only played Fortnite like when it came out, so I guess I had more fun with this than Fortnite. And yeah, I guess you can start sharpening your pitchforks now, but I really did like the map. I like the whole money system, how it does really incentivize you to explore and do these challenges that show up and actually get kills instead of just hiding in one spot. I did like all the mixing and the matching of a bunch of different Call of Duty games. I think it's really cool how they've all come together and you can just use a ton of different weapons from all these different games. It still feels really nice since it's Modern Warfare. And you know, playing this game with my buddy really was some of the funniest experiences I've had playing any video game in a long time. Whether it was just getting sniped out of the sky when you're trying to parachute down at the start of every game, or my legendary battles with XX Booty Eater 420 or Dookie. I'm sorry. XX Booty Eater 420 XX or Dookie in your mouth. It was fun, but the game does have a ton of microtransactions. It is free to play, so I guess it makes a bit sense, but tons of microtransactions, and they really incentivize you playing the other Call of Duty games that are with this title, like Vanguard, Cold War, MW 2019, etc.
Time to earn your freedom, soldier. Stand by for redeployment.
And like most modern Call of Duty games, the interface is just complete garbage with way too much information and ads and stuff to buy on screen at once, and yeah, it's just not good. I also didn't like how certain game modes take over the Battle Royale. For instance, Vanguard mode, where you can only use World War II weapons, replaces regular Battle Royale. Wasn't a big fan of that because I like all the weapons mixing and matching, but I mean, that's just, I guess, part of it being a live service. So is it worth trying? I mean, it's free and it's a Battle Royale. I'm pretty sure everybody's got their own opinion on a Battle Royale at this point, so leave you with that. And I do have a bit of an update for Warzone. We are getting Warzone 2 soon enough, so I'm sure that'll be here with Warzone 1. I'm sure it'll be just as fun. And so here we have Modern Warfare 2019, the reboot, reimagining, whatever you want to call it. Forget all that future stuff, forget the World War II, we're just going back to what made Call of Duty incredibly popular. And really, putting the series back in modern day was almost a breath of fresh air. Almost. It really gets that visceral, raw feeling from the old Modern Warfare games. And the story is actually pretty good in this game with a lot of shock moments and can feel scary real in a few aspects. Really, the story is about a couple characters teaming up with Captain Price to stop some terrorists, and you also get to go over the terrorist origin stories, and I'll leave it at that. And there are some pretty morally awful things that happen in this game that can feel a bit unnecessary, like when you play as the little girl, like, jeez, man. But then we get to actually playing through the campaign, and I gotta say, they really revamped how the game feels. The guns feel fantastic, and they sound great. And just controlling this game, it's actually very nice and does feel a bit different from the last COD game. The levels and set pieces I thought were pretty good to great. There were a number of set pieces where I was like, been there, done that. It feels a bit generic. We've already seen this. But then really any of the night missions, like the ones where you clean house or the one where you go around like this kind of open area and have to take out people quietly, like this was actually very well done. And these are the highlight of the campaign. If you're going to play the campaign, it's for these missions. The night missions are very well done. And then when it comes to the multiplayer, yeah, it really does feel like the 360 games for the most part. They really went back to the roots of COD and that boots on the ground experience. Something that is different from the 360 games is the interface is total garbage now, just like Warzone. The Pick 10 system is gone, and now there's the Gunsmith with the customization being actually very well done. The customization, that's pretty well done. Playing the actual multiplayer, it's just as toxic as I remember.
Trash. 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 Trash.
Another
Trash.
guy.
Trash. Hey, let me up there. Trash.
Hey, y'all are fucking ass. Y'all are fucking ass. Hey, y'all are fucking ass. Hey, don't eat your mom.
And playing Search and Destroy in 2022 really takes me back to the early 2010s, where I guess everyone must have gotten an N-word pass.
Yo, why you so racist? Why you so racist? You never been on Call of Duty or what, you fucking idiot?
Shut your illegal ass up.
Shut your bitch ass up, nigga. You never heard that shit on
You're
radio,
illegal.
you fucking retard.
Like, you
You think
talking
that shit's
illegal.
you think that shit's all friendly on here or what?
You're illegal,
You
bro.
fucking pussy. You over here bitching.
You
over here bitching. Stop being racist. Sound like a bitch. You sound like a bitch. Nigga, stop that shit. Fucking curb stop your bitch ass. You sound like a bitch over here.
And there were a number of new modes introduced in this game. However, good luck finding anybody playing them. Everyone's just left them for Warzone, so I couldn't even try them. And then there was Spec Ops mode. Spec Ops in Modern Warfare 2019, unfortunately, is just pretty dreadful. It wasn't very good at all, and a shell of its former self. It's stupidly hard. You really need a party if you want to get anywhere in it. And everything just kind of kicks your ass. I didn't find it all that exciting. I thought it was just kind of boring, and I couldn't get anybody to play it, and I couldn't even find a game online. I guess everybody just thinks it's crap too. Aside from that, though, I think MW 2019 was really a step in the right direction for Call of Duty. It's a shame that that step was literally a step backwards to what they've already done, but this game is better than the other games I discussed. Alright, and so here we have Modern Warfare 3, developed mostly by Infinity Ward, but Sledgehammer did help as well. MW3 really kept the same general gameplay and tone and feel of Modern Warfare 2. They just kind of added a little bit more to it. And to be totally honest with you, MW2 and 3 basically play identical to each other. They feel the same, they look the same, they're very similar. The campaign, though, the campaign is actually pretty good. It follows up on that cliffhanger from MW2. It has its own shock moments, and it's really about going after Makarov. I think a lot of the set pieces are actually pretty great, and the last set piece in the game, ooh, that's one of the best in the series. The gunplay feels nice, it's super snappy, and the campaign really is as linear as you'd expect. They even brought the AC-130 back from MW1, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I did like the campaign. Then we have the multiplayer, which was highly contested back in the day, and I remember a lot of people arguing whether it was better than MW2 or not, and I gotta say, it's certainly more balanced than MW2. That was the main thing they were going for here, was balance. It is much more balanced, and a lot of the weapons were on even playing fields. This was actually the Call of Duty to introduce Kill Confirm, which is one of my favorite modes in the series. It's just a variation of TDM, where you go and collect their dog tags after you kill them, but I'll be honest, it's really fun, and I've always enjoyed it, especially when this game came out. I really love Kill Confirm. And I thought the maps were pretty decent, not all that much to them, but that's fine. We don't need these giant sprawling maps. They weren't as memorable as, say, MW2's, but they were good. I remember the spawns were a hot topic back in the day of whether or not they were good. The spawns I always thought were very questionable in this game, and it would like spawn you right where the enemy team is far too often, and that was always an issue I had with it. But generally speaking, the multiplayer was pretty fine. It was just kind of more MW2, but again with the balancing, that's all there really was to it. Spec Ops returned, and it was fine enough. It's better than the new Modern Warfare. It's just kind of there. There's a survival type mode where it was kind of like zombies with people instead, and the kill streaks, which zombies eventually got kill streaks too, so. But I thought the survival mode was fine enough. I think this is when people were really starting to kind of get sick of Modern Warfare and sick of Call of Duty in general. It was getting a bit overexposed, a game every year feeling so similar to each other. Like, people were really turning on Call of Duty when this came out. And I think that's kind of unfair. I think MW3 was actually one of the better CODs. I don't know how many people are playing it nowadays, but I have some fun memories with it, that's for sure. Alright, and so here we got the game that made me make this whole video. We have the new Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 2 2022. Now, when it comes to how good I think this game is, obviously I haven't put as much time in it as I have with some of these other games, but so far, you know, I think that this is actually one of the best COD games of the last couple years. Now, don't get it wrong, the new MW, it does have a number of issues, like some missing features like barracks, hardcore mode, glitches, crashes, and a bunch of weird instances, but for the most part, yeah, I really do think the new MW is actually quite good. When it comes to the single-player campaign, I think that this is one of the best campaigns that the series has seen in a long time. with the usual, you know, it's all about the boys and terrorist storyline that Call of Duty is known for, but I actually think this is one of the best ones that they've had. The story is actually pretty good, and you just gotta love seeing all the boys back together, like Soap, Ghost, Price. They're just all here, and you know, they're a little different obviously from the old MW series, and I think they honestly have more personality, but I actually just really like seeing them all interact with each other. I thought the way the story was going was pretty awesome. The twists I did not expect. As someone who does very fairly remember MW2 from back in the day, like especially because I just did all these videos on it back this year, I really did remember the story of MW2, and they actually did some twists I didn't expect. So I thought the story was very strong, and the ending is just legendary. And when it comes to playing through the campaign, they actually really do mix up the campaign. There is a ton of set pieces and missions. I think just about every mission is different from each other, and they've really tried to expand on the gameplay of Call of Duty's campaigns. It doesn't just feel like multiplayer where you're just mindlessly shooting things. No, they've really mixed it up. The gunplay is very good in this game. I think it's some of the best gunplay the series has ever had. I actually do like the heavy kind of feel with the mounting, and so I think it feels very nice, and I think that the general gunplay of the campaign was very awesome. I like that they incorporated Warzone elements also. I particularly like the whole scavenging element, and they also took the really good mission from MW2 where you clean the house and really just expanded on it. Why wouldn't they? It was so good. You just have to clean these houses. The enemies are hiding in the nooks and crannies, and it happens a lot more in this game, and I think it's really good stuff. While not every level hits, a majority of them do. There is only one or two COD moments where it's like you're upside down and you're shooting at cars where I'm like, yep, that's a Call of Duty moment. But I really do think it is one of the best campaigns in years. When it comes to the multiplayer of this game so far, I've been having a bunch of fun with it. This game has a ton of maps, guns, modes. It's got a brand new mode where it's literally just Battlefield, but it's way better than Battlefield's been in years. And really, they just returned to the old kind of COD multiplayer that people fell in love with. It's kind of funny how they literally just went back to the old stuff to make people come back, but like, yeah, it's actually hella good. It's just way better than the multiplayer of the last couple games, I feel like. Like, it's actually just really solid, and I really do like the amount of guns you have, the amount of options you have. There's a bunch of skins. There's actually more than like 7 or 8 maps, which is great. And like almost all of my game modes that I love are actually here. Sure, again, there are some missing features here. Hardcore mode isn't there. The barracks is weird. The user interface is just a piece of dog shit. Like, what is this crap? It's awful. But for the most part, multiplayer is a very fun time. And of course, there's going to be the argument for skill-based matchmaking. And it's happened to me a few times where you'll just get completely annihilated thanks to it. But, I mean, there's sweaties in every game, right? It's not perfect COD multiplayer. It's not going to reinvent the wheel, and it's nowhere near as innovative as it was, 10, 15 years ago now, but it's actually just really fun, and for the most part, it's really stable, and of course, there's going to be people who are exploiting it, going nuts, and making a mockery of it, but for the most part, yeah, I've had fun with it. And then there's the Spec Ops missions. There's 3 co-op missions, and these are actually pretty fun. You can be stealthy, you can run in guns blazing. There's actually some challenge here, and all 3 missions are very different from each other, which is cool. The problem is that there's only 3 missions. Like, seriously, there's only 3 missions, and it's like there needs to be at least double this, considering that I beat them all with my buddy in like an hour. And I thought it was, again, cool that they incorporated Warzone elements. I think it's really cool that they're incorporating Warzone stuff into regular COD. It just makes sense. The assets are already there. And, of course, for Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2 is coming. There's going to be a bunch of updates and seasons. I think people are going to be playing Modern Warfare 2 for a very long time. I think that it's going to be the mainstay COD for quite a while, and I'd be really surprised if it even comes close to dying out in the next couple years. But it's gonna if they don't get the prestiges in. That's another thing that's missing that I don't really understand why it's missing, but I think it's for all their seasons or whatever, however these stupid games do it nowadays. Back in my day, they just released the game, but, I guess that's too much to ask for. Regardless, I really got to give it to Infinity Ward and the support studios. I think they actually did a pretty bang-up job with this one. I think that it's a good to great campaign. It's pretty fun multiplayer, and 3 decently fun Spec Ops missions, but I think overall, yeah, you actually are going to have a good time with this if you haven't played Call of Duty in a while, or you want to just get into a shooter that's real fast and crazy. I think MW2, you could do a lot worse. I think this is actually pretty good. From one Modern Warfare 2 to the other, here we have the old Modern Warfare 2 from 2009, developed by Infinity Ward. I can remember back when it came out, there were few releases at the time that were as hyped up or as big as Modern Warfare 2. Like, it was big. It was a big deal. MW2 is really where the series changed. It went from this really serious war shooter series to what it is now, which is a macho, like, Chad shooter series, and you knew everything was different when Eminem was playing on all the trailers. And this tone really extended to the entire game with its really epic new campaign with a very controversial mission in it, its multiplayer that would also change the game for better and worse, bring on a new level of toxicity that had not been seen before in gaming, and then there was Spec Ops, which was pretty much the same.
Riot Shield. What else you want me to do? Oh, Riot Shield! I'm a pussy that use Riot Shield! Oh, now I'm a pussy. What do you want me to use?
Faggot.
You tell me what you want me to fucking use.
Prestige, you fucking fag.
Tell me what it's fucking is, huh?
The campaign was great with it continuing after Modern Warfare and has you really just stopping more terrorists, and I'll leave it at that. And it has a bunch of fan favorite, now iconic to pop culture characters like Ghost, Soap, Price, Makarov, and even Shepard. The game had a ton of memorable missions, whether you were Ramirez defending Burger Town or you were doing a really horrible thing like No Russian. This campaign definitely was memorable, and it was actually really well done, and I think that ending is very iconic also. I do like the campaign.
Oh my god! Oh! Oh my fucking god! Oh! Oh! No! Get the camera!
And then the multiplayer, yeah, a lot of people really love the multiplayer MW2. A lot of people thought it was like the next coming of Christ, especially back in the day. They were just obsessed with it. And you know, I never got too big on it, but I can absolutely see the appeal and why people liked it so much. A lot of these weapons and maps have just become synonymous with video games and Call of Duty in general. Like, they are just iconic. I mean, don't even get me started on Rust or the Intervention when it comes to weapons. Like, those are iconic. I can say that, yeah, it isn't balanced all that well. A lot of the weapons, in fact, a select number of weapons, are just way better than the other weapons in this game. Some of these weapons are just borderline useless by comparison. But despite the balancing issues, the customization is really well done in this game. Like, you can have a really custom loadout and play however you really want to play. Something that I think later Call of Duties really have lost. And it's like in the new Call of Duties, it feels a lot more homogenized. You gotta just kind of have a machine gun and go at it. I feel like in MW2, you can have tons of different loadouts and actually get good results. And part of that is the maps. I think the maps are actually really well designed, not just Rust. I do like the maps. They're actually well done. And then we get to how toxic it is. See, MW2 is probably like the most toxic game ever made, and the amount of shit talking that went on with this game, especially like when it was new, was just completely unprecedented and will always crack me up.
Yum, 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 I eat dick all day. Yum, 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 I eat dick. You wanna fight dick all day?
It really was something else, and hopefully we never get another game as toxic as this ever again, but it was pretty funny, I can say that. Then we have Spec Ops, which was fine enough. I mean, it was just, yeah, it was Spec Ops. It's better than what we got nowadays, but yeah. MW2 is an infamous game for better and for worse, and if you haven't played it at this point in time, should you play it nowadays? I mean, that's up to you.
Fucking funny yourself, you fucking idiot. You're looking like a loser right now. You just received using that.
And you knew, of course, the best Modern Warfare was still going to be COD 4. The original MW really is just unbeatable at this point. This game really changed COD forever, and it changed gaming forever, as after this, for the next couple years, modern military shooters were in. They were the thing. They were what was making the big bucks, and you have COD 4 to thank for this. COD 4 really was built on two big pillars. Its awesome campaign that really changed how we look at campaigns and shooters, and its multiplayer that also changed how we look at multiplayer in shooters. This really was where the COD formula was established, and what it feels like a lot of other COD games, in fact most of them, really have been trying to replicate since COD 4. Now when it comes to the campaign of COD 4, it is arguably the best campaign that the series has ever seen, and I can say it's the game with the most memorable missions. The amount of awesome levels and set pieces in COD 4 really is unparalleled when it comes to comparing these games. Like Call of Duty 4, it's almost every mission, if not just every mission, that has become iconic and just very memorable. Fighting in the streets of Afghanistan, the epic vehicle chases, all gillied up, the nuke going off, blowing people up with the AC-130. These are all very memorable, iconic images and levels and set pieces. Like, it just meant a lot, and it really left a lasting impact. The story wasn't even anything all that crazy or unseen. Ultimately, it was just you, the player, as Soap, teaming up with your squad mates and Captain Price to go after some terrorists. I mean, that really was the story. And, you know, it was a big leap for the series, as before this, there really wasn't any stories in these games because they were World War II shooters. And this game really had a story, it had an antagonist, and it actually had some stakes. The story was done well, the gameplay was pretty great, it was different from a lot of shooters at the time, it was different from even COD 2 and 3. And again, it is the most memorable Call of Duty campaign of them all. You can't tell me otherwise. Like, I'd really love to hear someone say that there's a COD campaign more memorable and iconic than Call of Duty 4. Like, really? Really?
Oh, baby, a triple! Oh, yeah!
But it wasn't just the campaign, it was the multiplayer too. It took some of COD 2, but it really upped it by a lot. Obviously, it had modern weapons, which was a big plus, and added a lot more versatility than World War II could ever add, but it added perks, it added kill streaks, it added create a class. Like, this was stuff that was in other games, yes, but it was done differently in Call of Duty to the point that people just fell in love with this multiplayer. A lot of the maps were really carefully designed. Some of them were very iconic, like Shipment, and they were just all a blast to play on. I've always had a blast playing COD 4 multiplayer, whether it was back when the game was newer or any of the modded servers on PC where it was like 100 people Shipment and you're just killing everyone, or even now where there's the Modern Warfare remaster. COD 4 multiplayer, always going to be a good time, always fun, and really every Call of Duty has just expanded on it. But, you know, sometimes it's fun to go back to the basics. I mean, what really needs to be said at this point about MW1? It's MW1, it changed the game, and really, it changed gaming. Alright, so that's it really for this video. That's all the Modern Warfare games. Wanted to add in MW2 and share my thoughts on it. I think it's pretty solid, but you know, nothing's going to beat that original MW. Hope everyone enjoyed this video.